Hello and welcome to Wild SOS. I know it's been a while since I've done it, but I had to jump on today to just share some stuff with you guys to let you know that today is a bittersweet day for me. Today was the day that I dropped my youngest off to his father. It's bitter because, I'm gonna miss him. He's gonna be gone anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. And it's sweet because I get time to me. I get me time to kind of, move and go about as I would like. But what my SOS is for the non-custodial parents today. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of these excuses that you full-time parents are making. Some of these, ridiculous excuses as to why you're not allowing your child to see the non-custodial parent. How about the excuse that you don't trust them? You don't trust the person that they're with. Every time you drop them off, they're taking them to their, parents' house. Or they don't do anything for my child, so why would I let them go? These are all excuses that we need to get rid of. And you know why? Because I used to use some of these same excuses. And the reason I'm sharing with you is because I want women and men to be free. Because it's not just the women. I know a lot of men these days are, have custody of their kids and they do the same thing. They're being, kind of mean and low down, not letting the parents see their kids. And it's not right. So let me help you and hopefully set you free, give you maybe another mindset to just think about it, pray about it, and do something different. For me, I had to let go of the excuses because I had some of these same excuses as to why I would not allow my son to go, to see his father. But my son loves his father. He loves his other sister. And sometimes we have to just let that go and remember, it's not about me. Some of you are so emotionally attached and hadn't even realized it's time to let it go because it's not about you. It's not about that situation where he cheated on you or she cheated on you. It's not about that situation where she decided or he decided to leave you. It's about the children. Children deserve to be loved by both sides of the family. And I tell you, if it had not been for my dad's side of the family, because my aunties, I have 3 aunts and I love my grandma to death. Had my mom decided not to allow me to go to my dad's, I wouldn't know my grandmother. I wouldn't know my aunties. I wouldn't know sometimes, how we get those, I would say, those mannerisms, what side of, the family you get it from. Like even my son, he knows he gets his smarts from his mama and he gets his artsy, creative side from his dad. He doesn't have to wonder, well, where did I get this from? He knows and he understands it. And I know, even with me and some of my mannerisms and how I may think and do and act, I can determine where it's coming from. And a lot of times we are depriving our children from knowing who they really are because we are using some of these excuses. If your reasoning for not allowing your child to see the non-custodial parent is because these are reasons that you shouldn't. Abuse, neglect, or living situations that aren't healthy. As far as like, a nasty house, the house is falling in, they sleeping on the floor, things like that. No, you shouldn't allow your child to be in those type situations because then you're subjecting them to, neglect and all of the above. However, if these are parents or the other side of the family really loves your child, they're going to take care of them, they're going to nurture them as you would, I say stop. Stop with the emotional attachment. Detach yourself and know it's not about you, it is about your child. Allow them to spend time with them. Allow them to embrace the other side and who they are. Even if you said, well, they don't do anything, they don't pay in the child support, what's more important to you? Is it the money or is it the relationship? Because the older you get and the more mature that you become, You understand it's not about the money. Even if that person has the money, you're like, well, they got the money, they just won't do it. Okay. If you had the money and you taking care of your child the way that you're supposed to, don't even worry about their money. It's about the relationship. Your child will grow up and understand where the financial assistance came from. But it's about the love, because a lot of times I feel like if our children knew, or some of these kids out here doing all of this reckless stuff, if they knew how much their parents love them, or the other parent that's probably not there, they wouldn't do some of the stuff that they do. They wouldn't act the way, or they would probably understand better why they act and operate the way that they do. Because even with my oldest son, some things that he do, and I tell him right off, oh, you acting like your dad. You know, you probably, want to get it together or something like that. And his dad isn't a bad guy, but we understand where these dynamics and the mannerisms come from. And you have to be able to put them in check so your child can understand where they're coming from as well. So that's my SOS. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, because I did, okay, and I'll go close with this, because I did have a question. Well, actually two. One question was, how do you handle you teaching your baby one thing at home, but the non-custodial parent may be teaching them something else? My answer and suggestion to you is, you sit down and you talk to the child. You make sure the child understands clearly your rules at home, where you stand, where this, comes to morale, spiritual, all of those things, the eating habits. You make sure your child understands you. And let them know, because I've had this conversation with my son as well, what you are allowed to do over there doesn't necessarily mean that you can do that here. So if it's not the same, and I would say one of the things that his dad and I are kind of different on, his dad is older than I am, is music. There's certain music that I would allow my son to listen to, but when he goes to his dad, he can't particularly listen to it. Okay, that's just the rule you have to follow. It's give and take. As long as it's not anything that's just, dramatically different than what I'm teaching him, and it's not something that he can come back from, it's okay. You can't run their house. I don't try to run his dad's house, because again, we were married at one point. I trusted him enough to marry him. I trusted him enough to sleep with him, and we have a baby together. So even with the excuses that you don't trust him, you don't trust the person he with, that's a lie. Because you trusted him enough and he was with you. So you just trust him enough to make the right decisions with somebody else. So stop trying to run other people's household. I don't do that. I never have, and I don't believe I ever will. Second is, what do you do if they always pick the child up, and every time you call to check on them, they over his mama, auntie, sister house? Well, again, stop trying to run people in a household. If the mother or the sister, which is the aunt, if they can take proper care of your child, if they love your child just as much as you do, that is their family. Stop trying to chastise adults. Stop trying to tell, a person what to do. If they may have to work. They may have something to do, but as long as it's their time to get the child, and the child is not being abused or neglected, you need to stay in your place. Because all that's going to do is cause confusion. You saying, but it ain't right. And it may not be. But if your child is being loved, is being taken care of properly by his family, these are people that you knew, people that you have a relationship with. Stop trying to chastise grown people, because your son or your daughter is the one missing out. They're missing out on an opportunity to be loved, to understand where they come from, to understand who they are. And I just say embrace it. Get you some me time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, this is the good side, as they say. So I'm going to enjoy these few weeks, just getting to know me better, reconnecting with my girlfriends, getting out, getting some laughs. And I encourage, somebody out there to do the same thing. You know, pray about it, think about it, but stop making excuses. I love you, and I'll see you next time.